Everybody, this is Social Forum from High School Top 200, and this next installment for the preseason top 25, top 50 is a Gisborne boys. Um, there's no secret about how good Gisborne boys is year in and year out, and they always have so much talent there. Um, they draw a lot from the outside schools within Gisborne, and being able to attract the better players. Um, so with a lot of guys that did leave from last year, and a lot of guys that were part of that sort of leadership within that group, they still have some really good fellows who have come back. Um, Austin Brown is obviously one of those guys, and would most likely be captain this year. Um, I see Austin Brown as probably the second best first five in the country. Um, he is built like a centre. Like, he's a pretty big kid for first five, but at the same time he still plays the role of a first five, which is really important as well. For me, sometimes the size isn't really that big of a deal. I would rather a kid that plays the position well rather than one that just gets away with either just size. I think size doesn't always help in those situations. Um, I would rather the person that knows the position well and can lead a team from that position, especially the first five position. I think Austin Brown is one of those kids, and so I pretty much expect him to be part of that New Zealand squad at the end of the year. Um, but he's going to be the one that they're going to have to um, really heavily rely on. Um, and he's going to have to really play the game smart every single game. He's going to have to try and preserve a lot of their ball, make smarter decisions. He's going to have to pretty much trust a lot in his teammates to get the job done. But at the same time, he's going to have to set up his teammates in situations that they can handle, rather than put them in awkward positions where they're not really used to it. And so that will be the things that I'll be looking at, that would pretty much fall on him if things like that go wrong. Because if I see something that he does that puts a player in a position where that player can't handle it, I wouldn't blame that player. I'll just blame Austin. So those are the kind of things that I'll be looking at. I also think that he's going to have to make a lot of calls towards the forwards, and maybe calling them to play a lot tighter than what they used to take care of the ball a bit more, and that when the ball does come flying out, to make sure that it is good ball and that they have momentum going forward. With just a young team like this, especially within the backs, I personally don't think it would be a good idea to put them under more pressure than they already are. So it will be up to him to tell the forwards to keep it going, make sure that when they have that momentum going forward, that the ball comes out as fast as possible, then not on the back foot when they're going to have to try and make up space and things like that. So that's something that I would probably be looking for. Most of it will be on Austin. Quaid is back, Tapsel as well, and he's kind of a strange one in the way that he used to be a halfback and moved to number 8. And so, I don't know what position he'll play this year. Most likely number 8, and he'll probably team up with Dylan Hall, who will most likely be the open side as well. So actually Dylan Hall's a year 12 that you should probably have a look out for too. But Quaid will be pretty important in this. They've got a couple of guys back in the forwards. Sione, Joe Mason, and Billy are probably the ones that are guys that we should probably all have a look at, and they'll be the guys that would lead the team I would expect Billy and Joe up front to really be physical and really be just mongrels out there. They've got a Tyron Wiley who's on the bench. He's a young kid coming through as well, and I think the example of Billy and Joe, Billy and Joseph are going to have to be the example to Tyron and show him exactly what to do, because I think that he's going to be a really good kid coming through that we're going to have to watch out for. So this will be a really good learning experience for him, and he'll have a couple of years at prop in the first 15 and going and playing behind these two players. I expect that rotation of props to be pretty strong as well with those three, and so that's not going to be the troubled side of it. I would probably look towards maybe the wingers. Maybe the wingers are going to be the more of the question mark in this team. Moses Christie is going to be in the back because Latrey Hayata is there, and he'll most likely go into centre or second five. That would be my main attacking option in the midfield. But Moses is going to have to work with his wingers depending on who they are, or depending on how many guys are going to be rotated off the bench and into the wingers position as well. But Moses is probably going to have to really work with the group that he gets stuck with. I think Moses is going to be at fullback. They have a kid, T. Painga, who's there as well, who's a big winger. And I actually think that maybe they should put T at either centre or second five rather than winger, just because of how big and physical he is, that once he hits and breaks that first line of defence, he has enough speed off those first two steps to get enough space away from that defence, and then maybe look for handoffs and stuff like that to Latrey, or hopefully Moses is going to be there. So I think if they worked it that way, I think it would be a bit more beneficial to them. But Moses Christie is probably the one that you have to really watch out for, him and Latrey. So if you're playing them, look out for those two guys. And they're going to be playing really well off Austin, depending how they work their system. But those are the other guys I'll probably watch out for. And they're going to be the biggest leaders on the field and biggest attacking options. So, have a look out for them. That's my review for Gizzy Boys. Please go down and support the fellas if that's your area, if that's your region, if you got some cousins in there, or sons or whatever, family, get down there, support your team. Gizzy Boys, peace.